This is Support is Sexy, episode 359, with Shannon Amos, founder and CEO of Shannon Amos Enterprises, also known as the Spiritual Traveler. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm happy to have you here. It just would not be the same without you. And you are going to love today's episode because it's all about, among other things, making brave decisions, going after what you really want. And if you are in a place where you need to make a brave decision, make a move, start a relationship, end a relationship, leave a job, start that business, whatever you're doing, if you need to make some brave decisions, but you need some support, I want you to sign up for my free course on how to make brave decisions. Go to makebravedecisions.com. makebravedecisions.com for the free course on how to make brave decisions. Now, within our episode today, we are talking to Shannon Amos, and Shannon is the creator of her own company. She comes from a television background, but what I love about what Shannon has done is she has made the brave decision to sell everything, to let everything go, to pack light, to travel light, and to travel the world. She's been doing so for about the past year now. And she talks about the moment when she decided to give up her business and pack up everything and let go, not even pack up, let go of a lot of things and move on despite what other people say and what other people think. And I think for many of us, whether it's a trip around the world or anything else, what other people think and our stuff holds us back. So Shannon talks about how to get through that in this episode and so much more. She also shares the importance of following your intuition, how to bravely make a change, the power of surrender and letting go of titles and things. Titles hold us back too, right? She also talks about how to learn how to say yes to you and be selfish, why we have to get out of our own way and the negative, quote unquote, what ifs. Shannon talks about how to trust that support will show up for you. You know, we're all about it. The universe will meet you halfway, but you got to keep moving. She also talks about her top tips for having a rich travel experience without spending a fortune. The importance, as we said, of packing light, and don't let money be the thing that holds you back. So now, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know I have a bit of a wanderlust. So I was so into this episode also because Shannon is fantastic and so grounded and such great energy. So I know you're going to enjoy this episode. Now, one quick thing before you dive in, Shannon was calling all the way from Thailand, which is fantastic. I love talking to women all around the world. The thing is, though, we had a few sound glitches, so you might hear a difference in sound or a little tiny bit of static throughout the episode. I just want you to know what that is. But I promise you, you will still feel inspired. All right. So now, without further ado, Shannon Amos. So Shannon, thank you so much for being here for an episode of Support is Sexy. I'm happy to chat with you.
Thank you, Elayne. Thank you for having me.
Of course, all the way from Thailand.
Yes, I'm a long ways away today.
Now, when did you first fall in love with entrepreneurship?
I think it was in 2009. I decided to leave a corporate position as a television executive. I was producing at Warner Brothers, and I don't know, the game had changed a lot, and I really wanted to take a leap of faith, and the opportunity came about, so I left and started my own production company.
When you say the game has changed, you mean the industry overall?
Yeah, the entertainment industry. I'd worked in it for close to 20 years at that point, and maybe about 15 years. And what had been a very creative space to me seemed to be more and more driven by marketing, and our ability to be as creative as we once had been just sort of went away. And I don't know, the passion that I had for producing, for writing, and for the creative just seemed to be more meetings and approvals than anything. Mm-hmm. And I got a bit frustrated, and I just wanted to create, and so I left to do that.
Is that what you were like when you were younger? Were you a creative child, would you say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And both of my parents were artists, and so I grew up in a very creative environment.
Now, where did you grow up?
Mostly in California, although we did move around a bit. My parents took me to Los Angeles when I was a little girl. Prior to that, we lived in Vancouver. But in the summers, we would travel to a summer home, and it was in different places. So I had the experience of also growing up in the Caribbean and West Africa.
Nice. Now, who would you say were some of your greatest influences during that time?
Definitely my parents, my mom and my dad. My mom was an artist. She painted. She could do anything with textiles, sculptor. She was just sort of a Jill of all trades in that space. And my father was an actor. And so I got the chance to absorb a little bit of what both of them did. My dad gave me the exposure to the industry. My mom gave me the exposure to art and culture. So it was a really beautiful upbringing in that sense.
Do you think your exposure to that and to travel sort of put you on this path later on in life, although at first you have a different career?
Absolutely, and I think that's a good point. I think a lot of times we go do what we think we should do, and we don't follow sort of that intuitive knowing, that thing that we really want to do. Maybe like being an artist, you kind of grow up thinking that there's not a way to make a lot of money or that you can't sustain yourself. And so I sort of feel like I was a little bit pushed in another direction. And that's sort of how I ended up following more in my dad's footsteps and into the entertainment industry, behind the scenes even, rather than in front of the camera.
So tell us about that moment in 2014 when you really had a life-changing moment and you decided to take a different path. As you said, the industry was changing, but you really made a big change in 2014.
Yeah, and it was a culmination of things. I had actually slipped into a depression. I had work had gotten slow. I had left, like I said, I had my own business, which is a constant hustle, and you're wearing so many different hats, and you're always working for that next job when you're in the industry that I'm in. So, work had gotten slow. I had a relationship of 5 years that ended. My mother was very sick. My dad had he was having health issues, and I was also empty nesting. So I think it was just a culmination of all those things, and I kind of got into a dark space. And it was during that time and that moment that I realized that, either you're going to let yourself just go down, or you're going to have to pull yourself together and do something that's really, really going to make you feel good. And you'll have to make a change. And I did.
What was your business at that time? Was it still in the industry?
Yeah, I was still producing. I was being more creative. I was enjoying it, but changes in the industry have made it more challenging, I think, to get projects through the pipeline, so to speak. A lot of my former employers had become my vendors, and so I still had to jump through the same hoops. I did have a little more creative control, but I also had the pressure of delivering on spec and delivering what they wanted, and so it was still challenging.
So you decided to make that change. What was the first step when you decided, okay, I have to do something different, or it's going to take me down with it?
I think I had to surrender. I had to let go of my attachment to things. I had to let go of my attachment to the title that I carried, and working in Hollywood and not having that title was a big shift. Everything changed when I did that. It was really sitting with myself, letting go of and being aware of my ego and my attachment to everything that I had created, the house, the cars, the lifestyle. And by doing so and letting go of that attachment, I started to get rid of things. I started to realize that I had a lot of stuff that I didn't need. And as I started to kind of work through that, I created space to do something new.
And in what ways did you work through that? Did you actually get rid of physical stuff, like material things? How did you purge your life?
I actually did. I just felt like I was constantly working to maintain everything that I had. And I felt like I could never really stay in front of the eight ball. So I just decided, you know what? You have to let this go. So, first I sold a car, and then I started to sell things, and I started to give things away and donate things. And it wasn't like I had tons of stuff, but I just felt like that attachment to it, that it was just time to make space. And the way the universe aligned is that as I was peeling back those layers and getting rid of stuff, I was renting a really beautiful duplex in the Miracle Mile area of LA, and the owner sold it. And so I was going to have to move anyway. I was going to have to make a change anyway. But I figured, hey, my kid is an adult. She's in college. I don't have the responsibilities of being a parent that I had. This is a great time to do that thing I always wanted to do. So instead of putting myself into yet another high overhead situation, I actually started to get rid of almost everything. And what I did hang on to, I put into storage. I sold the last car, and I decided that what I really wanted to do was travel, and that's something that I always wanted to do. I wanted to travel and see the world.
Isn't it amazing how the universe does align eventually once we start moving in a certain direction?
Yes, everything aligns. We just have to take that leap.
I know. That's the hard part.
That first step is the hardest part.
So what was it like for you when you started selling things? Did it start feeling lighter for you?
Oh my gosh, I started feeling much lighter. And, and initially there's sort of that anxiety, like, what if I don't get it back? What if? And, I kind of struggled for a while. And then I would go on to have two more losses. And one was my mother. She passed in 2017. And just as I was really I had let go of pretty much everything, was really ready to make that shift, she got really sick. And so I came to spend time with her. And it was while she was in the hospital that we knew that she was actively transitioning. And she said to me, Shannon, I asked her actually, did she have any regrets? And she said that her only regret was that she didn't travel and get to see more of the world. And I said, well, what if I took your ashes with me? What if I did it and I took your ashes with me? And she said, well, Shannon, go see the world and let the world see you. And I had to think about that, and I said, I'm going to do it. And so when she passed, that's exactly what I did. I got her ashes. I closed out all of my business in LA and Atlanta, and I packed a very small bag, and I left. And I've been traveling ever since.
And when was that?
That was February 27th of last year.
Wow.
Of this year, February 27th, 2017. So here I am 11 months later, and I'm still going.
You're still going. Now, did you have any idea in the beginning after you decided to do this tribute to your mom of where you were going to go or what was going to be your first stop on this journey?
For some reason, and I wanted to go to Bali, and it's kind of funny. I don't know if it was because I saw the movie Eat, Pray, Love,
right?
But it was somewhere I always wanted to go. And I even remember when that book came out, thinking, I read the book before the movie even came out, and I thought, oh my gosh, she did it. She beat me to it. This is what I always wanted to do. I always wanted to travel the world. And I used to even joke about the fact that one day I was going to travel the world, I was going to have an affair in every country and then write a book about it.
Oh, that idea was already out there.
Yes. I mean, I'd said it for years, and all of my closest friends knew it, and I would joke about it a lot, and actually it's manifested. And it's not that I've had an affair in every country, a romantic affair, but I have had an affair with the countries, with the people, with the culture, and the food, and it's been life-changing.
In what ways have you had an affair with those countries, or how has it made you feel, I should say?
I've fallen in love with every place that I've been. I can't say that there's been one place that I didn't like. And I think even the most challenging place, which was India, I went from Bali. I spent time in Bali and then made my way to Singapore, and from Singapore into India. And India was life-changing. It was very challenging. And I really learned to find the beauty in the cracks. Like, that flower that grows in the cracks, because India can really challenge you. It's tough. It's tough to see the poverty. But in it is there's such a spiritual aspect to it, and so many beautiful qualities to it. And I think it was a great place to really begin to do the work. Bali and India were great places for the work that I needed to do with myself.
And what was that work? Tell us a little bit about that and what you wanted your experience to be like beyond the travel.
I wanted to learn how to say yes to me. I felt like I spent a great deal of my life pleasing other people and being a people pleaser and trying to make everyone happy and trying to keep the family together. And I think as women, we tend to do that. We tend to put everything and everyone in front of ourselves. And I realized that, you know what, it's okay. It's okay to be selfish right now. It's okay to nurture yourself and take the time that you need to heal. But you have to learn to say yes. And that's what I did. I got to India and enrolled in a yoga course and actually deepened my yoga and meditation practice and became a certified teacher. It wasn't in my initial plan. It just sort of happened. And, like we were just saying, the universe sort of just opened up and everything that I needed for support happened. The yoga and the meditation helped me to shift my self-awareness and to move more away from the ego. It taught me to love and nurture my body and to be more aware of my choices, not just for myself, but as a being on this planet, and more aware of my connection and my impact just as one person on this planet. And that sort of paved the way for everything else that would follow.
Tell us what kind of mindset, in your opinion, for women listening, what kind of mindset do we need to adopt if we're thinking about taking a journey like this, or we want to take a journey like this? What kind of mindset do we need to have to find the courage and to know that what we need will show up when we need it? Because this is something that it sounds like it was very much a part of your journey, whether it started that way or became that way as you went along. And this is something that I've been trying to practice a lot more too, being secure in the fact that what you need will show up as long as you continue to move toward it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, we have to learn to get out of our own way. We will have an idea and we'll want to do something, and we'll shoot it down before we even have a chance to let it blossom into something. Mm-hmm. Women will contact me a lot and they'll say, I want to do what you're doing. I've always wanted to take that leap, but I'm afraid. What if, I've never traveled alone. What if something bad happens? What if I lose my job? What if I lose my place? We start to talk ourselves out of it before we even give it a chance. And I think that takes, some sitting still and really just trusting in yourself, learning to trust in yourself, because we are so much more stronger than we know. And if a person isn't ready to make a full leap and say, I'm going to let go of everything and just do this, then I think that, you can start to do it in smaller leaps. This didn't happen for me overnight. I traveled before, I'd gone places before, but I started to learn how to move away from being just on a resort to venturing out and seeing more. And little by little, I started to get out and experience more. And then in 2016, I took my daughter to Haiti on a volunteer trip, and we actually lived with the people in Haiti in the mountains of Grand Bois. And I think for us that was an introduction into sort of a world off the grid. And it was life-changing, and we both came back completely changed from the experience. And so it's creating those experiences, those smaller experiences for yourself, so that you can do that bigger, take that bigger step.
It's sort of a version of baby steps.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't expect everyone to say, I'm going to walk in my office tomorrow and quit my job, or I'm going to fold up this business that I've had for, my entire career and just leave. But there are so many ways now that we can do things and support ourselves that are outside of the normal paradigm of what we know. We just have to be open to receive that.
It's so true. I've been talking about this on the podcast. I was accepted into this program called Remote Year, where you travel with a group of entrepreneurs and other professionals in 12 months in 12 different countries. And I've been having the dream of traveling the world forever. But my thing is I need to be able to travel and I need to be able to work and not just vacation. So what I love about Remote Year is they set up co-working spaces for you in every country so that you'll be able to work. And that was something that I didn't know about until someone mentioned it to me, actually a guest who was on the podcast. So I applied for it recently and was accepted into the program. But as you said, it's important to have this vision for what you want to do and be open to whatever that might look like, even though you don't know exactly how it's going to happen.
Absolutely, and I'm actually familiar with Remote Year, and I haven't met anyone who's gone through the process of it, but I am familiar with it, and I've seen it. So I do know, that it's an option that's out there, and for some, sometimes buying into a program like that can be a bit expensive. And I think one of the things, it is a bit expensive. And having traveled, especially in Southeast Asia, I know that the biggest expense you have is getting here. Once you get here, it's really inexpensive. It's really easy to travel. You can get flights from places in Southeast Asia from one country to another for as low as $25. So it's really easy to move about in this part of the world. So I tell people that, I think a lot of times we're in such a vacation mindset. We're so used to, I want to stay in a 5-star hotel, and we stay in that path of the tourist track, and we don't really get to experience the culture the way that we could if we would just, be willing to step a little bit more out of our comfort zone.
Talk to us a little bit about how you navigated your way. How did you find your way through each country? Did you know people there, or what was the way that you went about finding your way? Doing a lot of research, or what really helped you for people, again, who are thinking about doing something like this?
Oh, that's so funny because I probably did it in the most unconventional way ever. I didn't plan anything. I literally bought a one-way ticket to Bali and I just left with one small bag. And I had booked just my first 2 nights at an Airbnb, and I had no idea what I would do or where I would go after that. And I kind of wanted to do that because for me, this was really going to be a journey about trusting the process and just, I don't know, giving up my attachment to everything and anything that I had known. And so I did that. I just jumped out there. And then it was pretty amazing. A friend heard I was going to Bali, and she sent a driver to pick me up. And that driver, in turn, introduced me to a healer, and one thing after another, and I was supported. I spent the first 2 nights in an Airbnb. It was beautiful, and then someone told me, well, you don't have to pay that much to have a beautiful place here. And next thing I know, I moved into another place for, a quarter of the price. And there, it was a homestay, and I didn't even know what a homestay was before that.
What is a homestay?
It's a family-owned business. So in this case, it was a compound that was run by a family that lived on the compound, a typical Balinese compound where the living spaces are outdoors, but all the bedrooms are indoors, and they all had their own bathrooms. And so it was sort of like a small hotel or villa, so to speak. And so I was literally, the driver that took me there negotiated $10 a night. So I paid $300 to be there for a month. And it included an amazing breakfast every morning, a Western breakfast every morning. And I couldn't have imagined that that's all I'm going to be spending for a beautiful place to stay. And from there, that was sort of my first experience connecting with other travelers. And that doesn't really happen in hotels. And when we're in hotels, people are we'll have conversations about stuff, but we're not going to hang out together. We're not going to usually do things together. But in this space, you connect with other travelers, and people will invite you to go places with them. And next thing you know, I was learning about all these different things that I didn't know about from other travelers, from sharing, and that would really start moving me forward. And then I connected with some people who started to talk to me about hostels, and I was like, no way, I'm not staying in a hostel. I was kind of a hotel snob and always like nice places, and they were like, Shannon, hostels aren't what you think they are anymore. There's beautiful boutique hostels out here, and you can travel and stay in places as low as $6 and $7 a night in Southeast Asia. And I was like, no way. And then I got introduced to Hostel World and an online portal and Agoda and other online portals. And I started discovering all these incredible hostels where I could stay, where I could do my laundry, where I could meet other travelers, where I could eat a great breakfast. And I started to make friends from all over the world who had been in the places that I wanted to go to, and they literally would just map out, like, you can go here, there, and help me plan things. And so that's how it all kind of came together.
That sounds amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, what about how did you develop this new life into a business for yourself? Because as you said, you gave up everything, closed up shop with your business in LA and Atlanta. But how did you evolve your business into what it is today as you're still continuing this journey?
Well, it's been interesting. One of the reasons I'm here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, is because there's a huge digital nomad community. There's a big expat community here, and I got connected to it when I came to Chiang Mai, to Thailand, on my first trip. And I decided that, you know, if I want to keep going and if I want to continue to have this lifestyle, I have to create some revenue for myself and an income for myself. I had been blogging and sharing my story across social media since day one, and I developed quite a bit of a following. And that following, in turn, donated so that I could continue to create content. And I thought, wow, if people are really willing to help me sustain this lifestyle, and they're donating, I need to give them something back. And so now I'm in the process of actually creating an ebook, an online store, and a couple of other things. I'll be doing workshops and destination retreats. And I thought, you know, this is a really great way that I can continue to do what I love and earn an income and also share the experience with other people.
I think, too, not that you want to be a travel agent or anything, but I think now that you have this experience, you can help people finding like these unique different places that you know about and something that a travel agent or regular travel agent might not know about or might not share with people. Especially for women who want to do the solo travel thing, but they don't really want to travel alone, knowing that there's someone like you there who has the experience and who could guide them through this journey could be really powerful and another kind of thing for you to think about. And I'm sure this is something that people will pay for, right?
Well, and they have, and absolutely, and it's amazing, Elayne. I've actually had two people come meet me that were kind of afraid to travel alone. They hadn't done anything like, you know, gone as far as Southeast Asia alone. And I welcomed them, and I said, you know, come on, come meet me, and I'll show you around. And they actually covered my expenses for flying to meet them in a location or going back to a location I had been in. And, you know, and I took them out almost like a tour guide. And it was an amazing experience. And not only was I happy to share it, but I'm really proud to say that both of those women have now gone on to travel solo. One went on to Sri Lanka, and she's planning to go backpacking now with her nieces and nephews when they graduate. And the other one is currently in Cambodia backpacking on her own. And I have a third person now coming next month who I'll show around Thailand. So it's been really an amazing experience, and I'm so happy to share that with others.
What is your vision for this part of your life or this journey that you're on? Not in the way that you want it to end, but where do you want it to go, or how do you see it evolving?
I want it to continue to evolve by traveling. I would like to see every continent that my passport will allow me to go to. And I will be doing, I will be co-hosting should I say co-hosting? I will be a guest speaker and guest speaker, yoga and meditation teacher in Italy in April for an event called Transform in Tuscany. And I'm really excited about that event because that's the first of many events that I'll be doing around the world. And it's an empowerment event for women. It's hosted by an amazing, incredible woman and former colleague of mine, Teresa Campbell, who started a company called Be Next Entertainment. And I'll be going there to do just what I'm doing now, just speaking to people and sharing with them my experience in hopes that I can empower them or assist them empowering themselves to do what they want to do, to follow their dreams and to take their leap of faith in whatever area of their life they need it in.
It seems beautiful, and for everyone listening, I'll make sure that I have a link to it. But just the fact that it's in Tuscany, which is someplace I haven't been to yet, although I've been to Florence and to Rome and to Venice, but Tuscany is definitely on the list.
Yes, I'm really excited about it. And, since I've been out here, I started teaching, which has been another way to earn income. Taught in Koh Chang, Thailand. I taught yoga in Koh Chang, Thailand. I'd been teaching meditation even before I left the States, part-time, and it's something that is a part of my daily life, and it's really helped to transform me, to stay focused, and just to be more mindful overall. It's really been a huge benefit to my life, and I'm happy to share that, and I want to share that with others. So after Tuscany, I'll be planning to host my own wellness retreats. I'm looking at Bali, Indonesia is my first one in 2018, probably around November, December of 2018, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Do you have to go back and forth to the States to come back for a little while for a visa, or do you get to just keep going because you're going from country to country?
I haven't been home yet, but I will be coming back to the States in January, and my plan is to do some wellness workshops, and to teach some meditation courses, and I'll also should have my book out by then, and we'll be out promoting my book. And I'll be in the States from January through April, and then I'm out again.
Then you're going
to journey continues.
And the journey continues.
Yeah, yes.
Are you going to be in California when you come to the States?
Oh, yeah. I plan to definitely make my way to California.
Okay. Excellent. Let's take a quick break for a special offer from one of our partners. Do you spend a significant amount of time creating incredibly smart, valuable, and dope content for your audience, only to feel like one or two people see your work when you promote it on social media? Did you know only 5 to 10% of your followers see anything that you post? That is why I love the social media management tool, Meet Edgar. And I had a chance to chat with CEO and co-founder Laura Roeder, yes, a woman, about how Meet Edgar makes sure your work has a better chance of reaching your customer.
What he does that's really different from other tools is repurposes your content so that you can get out of that cycle of creating 5 new updates a day, every day for the rest of time, which is how a lot of small businesses are handling social media, and it's driving them insane because who has time for that? So right. What Edgar does is stores everything in a library and then automatically repurposes and recycles your content for you. And the reason that's a really smart idea is because 5 to 10% of your followers see any status update that you post. So why would you spend all this time coming up with content to post it once or even post it twice when such a tiny percentage of the people who follow you and want to hear from you are going to see it? So the results we see for people, you just get a lot more traffic, you get a lot more exposure, and it saves you a lot of time because once you've built up your library, Edgar's sending everything out for you. You can just go in and chat with people and do kind of the fun stuff on social.
I'm telling you, Meet Edgar has saved me a lot of time in my own business and increased my social media engagement and, more importantly, traffic to my website. Want to give it a try? Go to ElayneFluker.com/Meet Edgar to sign up now and use the promo code SEXY, SEXY, to get 1 month free plus $5 off your second month. That's ElayneFluker.com/Meet Edgar, MEETEDGAR, 1 month free plus $5 off your second month. And now back to the show. So what would you say, Shannon, entrepreneurship and this journey has taught you about yourself as a woman?
It has taught me that we are creators and that we have the ability to create anything that we want to create. We just have to learn to let go of the fear that holds us back. And that's when we have to just get out of our own way and just do it. I think the most powerful thing we can do is really sit with ourselves, think about that thing that we really wanted to do, that thing that we thought about as a child, and somehow maybe we got off track, or maybe we even pursued it, but it just didn't go exactly the way that we wanted to. We have to get back to that and know that when we do the work, the outcome will give us exactly what we need.
Tell us about the importance of traveling light, and not even just with stuff, which obviously you've gotten rid of a lot of your stuff, but also just who you are and your energy. It seems that you have this vibe of traveling light. And how important is that for us to be able to do the kind of things that you're doing if we want that kind of life?
You know, it's the first time in my life I've really felt true freedom. I had no idea how much hanging on to stuff and things, how much that weighs on us. And, you know, by leaving, I actually left with a small suitcase. And even dragging that suitcase around became kind of cumbersome, especially when I got into more remote areas and I even moved to a backpack. And I never saw myself backpacking before, but when I tell you it's the most liberating thing I've ever done in my life, because it allows you to move and go pretty much anywhere, you know, on foot, anywhere that you want to go, places that cars can't even go, places that motorcycles don't even go, and you get to see some of the most beautiful places in the world because you were able to let go of all that stuff.
Were you able to also let go of what people might think about what you're doing? I mean, your daughter, former colleagues, you let go of this business. I'm sure there were people who were like, you're crazy. What are you doing? But, you know, when you decide to let go, you decide to let go. But did you have any kind of angst or anxiety about that? And I ask because I feel like what people think is sometimes the one thing that holds a lot of us back as women.
Oh, yeah, and we will live our whole lives worried about what other people think.
Right.
For me, meditation and yoga helped me move through that fear of judgment. It's probably the biggest thing that we have to break out of. And I was just suffering so much internally. I mean, mind, body, and spirit was just suffering so much because I don't know, I wasn't happy. And I felt at the point that I left, I felt like I can't breathe. If I don't go, I'm just going to fall apart. And so for me, it was a need for my mental health and my spiritual health. I had to do it. Other people may not feel that desperate, but I'll tell you, we have to learn to live our lives being authentic to who we are. And I felt like I went through such a big part of my life kind of wearing a mask, always smiling and acting like everything was great. And on the surface, everything did look great. I had the great career. I had, you know, the beautiful partner. I had the cars. And my daughter was doing well in college. Like, it seemed to be all together, but inside I was really suffering. And I wasn't doing what was really serving my highest good. And, you know, I know it's scary to let go. I know it's scary to let go of our things. And I've met people out here on this sort of backpack circuit who've put things in storage, and some have moved things to friends' homes, and some have just rented out their homes. There's a way to do it. There's a way to do anything if you really want to do it. And that's the key. And you just have to let go of that fear, though.
Mm-hmm. So in closing, Shannon, if you think over your life and career and you had the chance to thank only one person whose support was critical to you personally or professionally, who would that be and what would you say?
I would say that learning to listen to my intuitive voice has guided me into a place of true inner peace. And that peace didn't come with money. That peace didn't come with the big house or the cars. That peace has come with myself. And while the journey, we're all on a journey, and trying to live our best life and trying to maintain, but the real journey starts within. And I've done that work, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for it. And I could look any critic in the eye and tell them that I would never do this any differently.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Beautiful. Now tell us how we can get in touch with you. Tell everyone where they can find you, links to your website and all that good stuff, because I know people are going to want to reach out to you.
Absolutely. My website is shannonamos.com, and it's always evolving and changing. I tend to share the most on Facebook, and you can find me at Facebook.com/I am Shannon Amos, and I'm across pretty much all social media. Instagram is Shannon Amos or the Spiritual Traveler. And I'm creating now a Facebook group, a community called The Spiritual Traveler, and it's a place where conscious people who want to travel the world can share. They can share their stories, places to go, travel advice and tips, and how we can travel and also be conscious of the footprint that we leave on this planet.
Now, is the Facebook group open already, the Spiritual Traveler group, or is that something you're still working on?
I just went on yesterday and noticed that we have 100 people. I just opened it about a week ago.
Ooh.
We have 100 members, and I noticed that a few people have already connected, and women are reaching out, and people are reaching out to help other people who are traveling, and that's exactly what this community is for. So if you're coming to Southeast Asia and you want to come to Southeast Asia, there's women on there who will be here to support you when you get here.
Excellent.
Yes.
Shannon, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. You know, I've always wanted to travel, as I mentioned. So hearing someone who had a career and sold everything and changed everything and went on this journey, it was just fantastic to hear. It's really an inspiration. So thank you.
Absolutely. And Elayne, I always like to share with people that don't let money be the reason why you're doing it, because I literally left the U.S. with $700, a one-way ticket, and one credit card. And if I can do it, other people can do it too. So there's a way to do it, and we don't have to spend tens of thousands of dollars to do it, and we can do it comfortably and safely. And that's what our group is about. So I'm so thankful that you had me on today and that I was able to share this with you and your listeners.
Mm-hmm. And I have more questions too. Now I heard about what you do. You know, I want to know more about that now that I told you what I plan to do. You seem like, you got me thinking over here. Shannon, thank you so much. Hold on one second.
Okay.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Shannon and got a little bit of inspiration to, even if not travel around the world, make sure that you are packing light. Don't let stuff or titles or people hold you back. Pack light. Now, to find out more about Shannon, what she's up to, the retreat that she has coming up, and all of the other great stuff that she's doing through Spiritual Traveler, make sure to go to supportissexypodcast.com and just search Shannon, SHANNON. Her show notes page will pop up with all of the links, the resources, the ways to get in touch with her, especially those resources that she mentioned for different places you can stay. If you do travel, supportissexypodcast.com. Go to the search icon at the top and just look for Shannon. Now, in this episode, you heard me mention Remote Year, which is a program that I'm a part of for 2018. I'm super excited about it. Travel the world, 12 countries in 12 months. My plan is to interview women entrepreneurs in those countries. So this is everywhere from Morocco to Malaysia to Split, Croatia, and talk to them about their experiences as women entrepreneurs in those countries and what it means for them to own their own business. It looks a lot different in other countries, not exactly the same as in the US or the UK or other places. All around the world, what are women entrepreneurs going through and how is entrepreneurship changing their lives? That is my whole thing about this journey with Remote Year. Of course, I'm excited about traveling, but really I want to take Support is Sexy global. I do it through the podcast. As you heard, we talked to Shannon all the way in Thailand today, but actually going to these places, seeing these women, being there with them is something I am truly passionate and excited about for next year. And I know as I keep moving forward, as we said in this episode, the universe is going to meet me halfway. Now, here's the thing. I also know that you gotta ask for support. You know, we're all about it. Support is sexy. I push you all to ask for and accept support and setting up something so that you or someone you know, even if you share it, can support this journey and this really passion to share the stories of women entrepreneurs by traveling to these countries is something that I would love for you to do. So please go to bit.ly/Support is Sexy Global. So that's bit.ly/Support Support is Sexy Global, and find out more about this trip around the world, what it's going to look like, what the experience is going to be like, but most important, what the plan is for sharing the stories for women entrepreneurs. It leads you to the page that is the GoFundMe page for me, so you can donate or share. Both are appreciated. The more you share, the more opportunities there are for other people to find out about it and want to get involved, whether that's becoming a producer on the show or any of the other many rewards that we have. bit.ly/support is sexy global. All right. So thank you so much for listening. You know, I appreciate you and I appreciate your support. If you're listening this far, the fact that you showed up today, it would not be the same without you. All right. So again, thank you so much. I look forward to chatting with you tomorrow. And until next time, you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.